We're now joined by Emmanuel Atamba, food systems expert, and he's joining us via Zoom from right here in Nairobi. Thank you for joining us, Emmanuel. Emmanuel, when we look at these numbers, it seems as though from 2019, food insecurity has tripled since then. What is the status right now, and what is driving this insecurity when it comes to food?
Yeah, thank you very much for having me. I think what we see is a consistent inconsistency. We expected that, since, of course, the SDG 2 is very clear on the need to ensure that, globally we achieve zero hunger. But I think from 2014 up to now, we are seeing that there's still over 700 million people globally who are unable to access a meal, and even more people who are not able to access, healthy, diverse diets globally. So, and most of these people are in the global south. And for example, regions like sub-Saharan Africa are leading due to a lot of factors, droughts, and a lot of constant issues that basically affect the ability of people to access food. And one of those issues that we never want to tackle is the question of livelihoods. And I think it's important that we start to look at the multi-dimensions, the different things that affect food security and food systems in general, so that we can get to the core. Because I think it's not enough to talk about food security, but to really look at the core of it.
When you talk about looking at the core of it, Emmanuel, how do authorities tackle food insecurity and hunger? And especially when we're looking at these reports, and it seems as though it's a very urgent issue at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, the reports can clearly show, based on the numbers, that it's a dire situation. It's an urgent situation. But I think we have not aligned our political agendas to it. We have not aligned our economical agenda to deal with food insecurity, for example, even in Africa. So, I mean, what do the numbers mean? If we look at the numbers and we see how urgent they actually are, and how dire a situation the numbers that we look at show. But then we do not do anything urgent in terms of structural adjustment, in terms of aligning our government's agendas, in terms of aligning our regional agenda to really tackle the root causes of hunger. If you look, for example, in terms of poverty rates, globally, there has been a significant reduction on the level of poverty and absolute poverty, and even just generally poverty and inability to access adequate resources. But if you look at the context in sub-Saharan Africa and in Africa in general, the numbers are not changing. So it basically means that there is something at the very core of this that we are not addressing, which is basically the mechanisms, the accountability, the governance mechanisms to actually bring people together, bring stakeholders together to effectively address these issues.